Hey Chester, how you doing? So you're looking to improve your performance in your short turns. So we won't hang around. I'll just dive in and start having a look at what you're doing at the moment. Just before I do, obviously, elephant in the room, you're not on snow, you are riding on dry slopes, so we definitely have to take that into consideration. You're not going to get the same amount of grip that you would on snow. There's a limit to how much grip you're going to be able to get from the dry slope. For anyone who watches this that isn't familiar with a dry slope, it's made up of bristles that are pretty tough, but they're about an inch or just over an inch long. And as you edge the board or the skis against it, there's a point at which, no matter how sharp your edges are or how much you edge the ski or the board, the bristle itself will break away. So it's a little bit like, so the difference between skiing or boarding on dry slope and snow is a little bit like the difference between driving on road and ice. So there's a point that you can sort of push it to before the surface that you're on will give away. So we obviously have to take that into consideration. As you'll see in a second, Chester's riding's really strong. So I'll just have a little play through. So it's very comfortable. The slope definitely isn't challenging you. You're in a good position. You're very balanced on your board, looking very comfortable. So you're creating some good angles, you're getting into good angulated positions, you've got strong steering skills, you look centered fore and aft, laterally, that's all looking good. And you've got a good feel for the surface that you're on as well. I've ridden dry slope a lot, so I understand the surface, and you're managing the pressures and you're managing the amount of edge that is possible really well. So specifically, we're looking to improve. Just play it quickly in a second. We're looking to improve the performance in your short turns. So if I just look at that now, you're riding in a corridor of about 2.5 to 3 mats width here, which is about the same as a cat track. And first of all, it may be that we want to try and bring that corridor a tiny bit smaller, just so that you can get a little bit more deflection from one turn to the other. So my main observation is that we want to try and get your upper body to be a little bit more switched on, a little bit more active. And I'll show you what I mean. So if I just go back to the beginning, your upper body is really well aligned with your board and with your lower body. And you are using your upper body to help anticipate the next turn. So it's setting you up, getting you into a good position. But then as soon as you've done that, once you've been active with your upper body at the initiation of your turn to get anticipated for the turn, you are quite passive with it from that point onwards. So if I just highlight this one particularly, so you're about to see, if I half the speed, you're about to see your upper body is starting to anticipate that toe side turn. And then at this point, I'd like to see your upper body begin to anticipate the next turn. So you'd need to switch on the core here to be able to do that, to allow your lower body to continue to turn through that toe side turn while your upper body starts to anticipate the heel turn. But what you'll see happens here is that the upper body continues to come around, and then it's quite a laboured, slow process to get everything to come back around before you can make the heel side turn. And again, it holds that position. Once you've anticipated it, kind of stays there quite passively on top. So just to contrast that, I'm just going to bring across, actually I'll play it where it is here. So admittedly this is, why isn't it playing? Okay, here we go. So this is me doing the kind of turns that you're aiming for, the short radius turns with quite a bit of performance. Obviously this is on snow, so we have to take that into consideration. But you should be able to see that while my upper body is active and I'm constantly using it, this is very switched on, so I'm trying to use that upper body to anticipate the turn, each turn. You'll never see my back. So as soon as I've anticipated that turn, I'm thinking about the next one and I'm anticipating it. So my upper body is staying much more inclined down the hill this way, and only turning really to about 1 o'clock and 11 o'clock, where my lower body will continue beyond that, but the upper body is staying fairly close to 12 o'clock. Sorry, there's a bit of a delay there. I'll just play that through again. So hopefully you can see that there, that my lower body is moving back and forth underneath, and the upper body is really tight and switched on, and I'm using it to anticipate each turn, but then it's not coming all the way around and passively sitting on top of the lower body. I'm just because it makes a good point, I'm going to bring in another video here. This is Jeff Chandler from Cassie, the director of Cassie. He's on a very steep slope here, short radius turns, high performance, and you can see again that his upper body is staying fairly aligned with the direction of travel, as in down the fall line, and his board is turning quite actively underneath him. So I'm not going to set you any exercises as such. I just want you to think about reducing the size of that corridor down to 1.5 to 2 mats. And apart from that, we're trying to make the upper body more stable and try and engage the core a little bit more, so that you're only turning the upper body to 1 o'clock and 11 o'clock. The lower body can turn beyond that to complete the turn, but the upper body will at that point be anticipating the next turn, so it's more orientated in the direction of travel, with the lower body turning underneath it in a similar way that you would on skis, and I know you're a good skier as well. Just to allow you to get that performance in the shorter turns of your board turning quickly underneath you. So have a go at that and send me the video, and hopefully we'll see some improvement and we'll go from there. Cheers, mate.